Seongwu and the prosecutor meet each other for the first time. The prosecutor introduces himself as Jung Chun-che. Seongwu notices that people of his town saw the prosecutor for the first time, but they're acting overly charmed by him. They're acting the same way the lesser vampires acted for their vampire lord. Even Hanho's eyes are sparkling after meeting the prosecutor. Seongwu takes him to his office, and prosecutor tells him that the people of his town are very lively. Prosecutor further elaborates that they are not doing too much well because survivors are flocking in Yeongdeung-po, and the total number of people in Yeongdeung-po has exceeded 30,000. Seongwu thinks that having more people must make his guild stronger, but prosecutor tells him that it is not the case, because most of the survivors are children or elderly who cannot go out in the fields to hunt. That is why he needs strong people like Seongwu to join his guild. He knows Seongwu is quite capable because he made it to top 5 in the rankings, which is a tough task in itself. When the game started, his parents were killed by the monsters. He somehow made it out alive due to his power. The prosecutor despises this game and he wants to take his revenge on the entity who created it. That is why he wants Seongwu to join him, because he wants reliable people with good reputation like him. There is also something else which made him personally come to Seongwu. Prosecutor shows him another prophecy stone and he asks Seongwu to touch it. After Seongwu touches it, he is shown another bad ending for the Korean server. This ending shows future glimpse of Yeouido Island. Some roots start sprouting out of the ground and they turn into a big world tree. Its roots start finding and killing players around the area. The Prophecy Stone's notification informs him that this tragedy will occur if they fail to stop the Fallen Ones, who will plant the seed of the world tree in a certain area and cause it to mutate by offering human sacrifices. Prosecutor tells him that they need to work together to stop this tragedy from happening. He further informs him that the world tree has planted its roots on Yeouido Island and there happens to be a boss raid in there. Prosecutor becomes pumped up and he tells Seongwu that they need to raid the boss as soon as they can. Seongwu also agrees with him because the fate of their world is at stake. But he hesitates to share the information about the Lich King, because that tragedy will only occur if Seongwu fails to obtain the Grim Reaper's scythe, or maybe Prosecutor will kill him thinking that it will cancel the exclusive quest. Seongwu agrees to cooperate with him, but he will not join his guild. They will form a temporary alliance and the rewards from the raid will be shared equally among them. They are about to shake on these conditions, but Hanho bursts in the room and he informs them that a group of raiders is heading toward their town. Prosecutor tells him that it is a great opportunity to show off their guild's fighting prowess. The raiders are drawing close by, and Prosecutor already knows about Seongwu's class, so he tells him about his class. Prosecutor has a Crusader Commander class. He can receive a powerful synergy by appointing Crusaders and forming an order of knights. One of the raider lackeys spots Seongwu's party and he informs his leader that they killed his men. The leader tells them that he was originally looking for the golden deer, but now he will get a lot of gold and resources after massacring the whole town. Prosecutor can just tell by one glance that these raiders are used to killing people. He orders his Crusaders team to charge at the enemy. The raider leader orders to shoot down the Crusaders with ranged attacks. The ice and fireball skills are about to hit the Crusaders, but Prosecutor forms a shield around them, which manages to soak up all of the range attacks. The leader of the raiders tells his lackeys to engage in close-range combat. One raider tries to bash a Crusader with his iron mace, but he gets chopped in half by him. The Crusaders are successfully managing to keep the raiders at bay. Raiders try to mash 2 of their trucks into the formation of Crusaders, but Prosecutor uses his cross-spear skill which obliterates both trucks in an instant. Seongwu is impressed because Prosecutor just took out 2 trucks with 1 attack. The raiders are getting pushed back by the Crusaders, but the leader of the bandits threw his axes at them, which dealt massive damage to some of them. The leader recalls his axes to himself, which proves that he is quite powerful, and those axes are not ordinary weapons. The leader tells them these are vortex axes and no armor can block them. Prosecutor calls his weapons mere toys and he gets ready to face the leader of the raiders. The raider leader becomes angry after hearing it and he throws his legendary vortex blades at the prosecutor, which results in a big explosion. After the smoke subsides, the prosecutor is standing above the vortex blades and they have been destroyed by his sword. The bandit leader becomes more angry after losing his legendary rank weapon. The female player under Prosecutor informs Seongwu that the Prosecutor receives a defense boost based on the number of knights in his party, and he probably has the highest defense in the world. But Seongwu and Ji Soo-yun are skeptical about it, because they think Hanho has the highest defense in the whole world. Prosecutor uses a Crusader's Splendor skill, which heals his units and gives them a buff equal to the amount of damage that he blocked. His knights are buffed and they start rushing at the raiders, but the raider leader is still not done with his schemes. Meanwhile, the townspeople are hiding because of the ongoing raid. Hanho's father is curious to know how the Liberation Guild looks like. Spearman Kyung-soo is also curious, so both of them go out to take a peek, but the condition of the Crusaders is not looking good. They were all knocked out by what looks like poison gas. The raider leader tells them that he bought his abyss concentrate from the wandering salesman. On the other hand, Prosecutor wanted to demonstrate a small bit of the fighting power of the Liberation Guild to Seongwu. Prosecutor starts getting ready to use a secret technique which he wanted to keep a secret, but Seongwu asks Prosecutor to stand down because he has seen enough, and now it's his turn to show his new power he just got from the abyss concentrate. The leader of the raiders throws another bottle of abyss concentrate at Seongwu, but he becomes even more powerful after absorbing the essence of the abyss concentrate. Seongwu realizes that this abyss concentrate is a lesser form of the skill orc shaman used at him back in the college campus. One of the bandits removes his mask thinking that the poison is defective, but he gets knocked out in an instant. Seongwu activates death response in the midst of the bandits' formation, and bandits get scared because they now know they are up against the third-ranked Necromancer from the Korean server. Seongwu's minions start massacring the bandits. Hanho's father and Kyung-soo are both happy after watching Seongwu wreaking havoc. Hanho's mom comes up to check on them, which scares them and they give out a loud scream. The bandit leader notices it and tells his underlings to take them hostage. The bandits start rushing at them, but Ji Soo-yeon blocks their way. She starts slashing them with her skill, and the bandit leader realizes that he should not have messed with these people. But he's too late, and he gets stabbed from behind by Seongwu. Seongwu receives the other half of the Golden Deer ticket as a reward which completes his quest. Another notification pops up which tells him to get ready, because he will be teleported to a hidden stage where only ticket owners are allowed. Soon he gets teleported there, and Prosecutor is curious about this gate. He tries to enter it, but he gets stopped by the system because he has no ticket. One of his underlings says that Seongwu was more powerful than Prosecutor, but Prosecutor stops him from spreading such rumors, and it looks like he's being jealous of something. Prosecutor asks Ji Soo-yeon about the gate Seongwu just went into, but Jisoo refuses to tell him anything. The Prosecutor was using a passive skill called War Hero Aura on everyone around him till now. This skill creates an aura around the Prosecutor which instills feelings of likability and respect for him. This skill works well on lower level players. It can also affect high level players if they are in a state of anxiety. Ji Soo-yeon is not affected by this skill. On the other hand, Dumb Han-ho is completely affected by it, and he is about to tell Prosecutor about the event, but Ji Soo-yeon shuts his mouth. Prosecutor tells them that he wanted to inquire about his gate because he's worried for the safety of Seongwu. These words put Ji Soo-yeon in a state of anxiety, and she spills the beans that this gate leads to a hidden stage. The Prosecutor thanks her, and he tells her that they don't need to be worried about Seongwu because he's one of the top-ranking players. He further informs Jisoo that her skills with sword are on another level, and he wants her to be a part of the Liberation Guild, but Jisoo straight out refuses his offer. Hanho is ready to join them, but Ji-seon drags him away. Prosecutor is quite impressed because most of the people he met before were easily affected by his skill. On the other side of the gate, Seongwu arrives at the hidden stage. A notification pops up which tells him that he will receive a special award for clearing the stage. Even if he fails, he will be transported back to his original location, and if he dies, he will still get transported back to the real world. Some gold-colored goblins start surrounding Seongwu. These goblins are quite cocky, and they think Seongwu is their prey. Seongwu summons Righty only, and orders them to get rid of these low-ranked pests. Meanwhile, just outside the gate, Liberation Guild is taking care of their injured members. Normal healing potions were not effective, so they had to use antidotes, which proves that it was a low-ranked debuff curse, but it can't be healed with antidotes. Prosecutor is still wondering why such a powerful curse had no effect on Seongwu. The glasses guy in Prosecutor Guild has a 3-star scouter skill, and he informs Prosecutor that Seongwu was buffed by the curse during the fight. The female player tells Prosecutor that she will write the contract for their alliance herself, which will be more beneficial for them. Prosecutor allows her to write the contract but reminds her that she should not do anything which can turn Seongwu against them. Prosecutor is wondering that everyone who first touched the Prophecy Stone became afraid after witnessing a glimpse of the end of the world, but Seongwu seems nonchalant about it. He tasks the female player to find out if Seongwu had come in contact with the Prophecy Stone before. Meanwhile, Seongwu's minions are wreaking havoc inside the secret dungeon. He resurrects some golden orcs and realizes that these monsters are a bit stronger than the ones in the human world, but it poses no threat to Seongwu and he is enjoying this hunt. Inside the dungeon, he has no one to protect, so he can go all out without worrying about anything. He is also thinking that he is a one-man army and he has no need for any teammates. His expression starts changing, but he becomes normal after hearing someone call his name. There is no one around, but he thinks he needs to get out of here as soon as possible, or he will lose his mind. He moves further into the dungeon and he finally arrives to a location where he has two options. He can go for a bigger treasure or a smaller one with less danger. Seongwu is quite confident at this point and he chooses the bigger one. Seongwu reaches the treasure chest, but he is skeptical because no one tried to stop him. He orders his minions to attack the treasure chest. After getting attacked, the treasure chest turns into a mimic boss monster. Mimic's teeth are very strong, and his bite attack can deal a massive amount of damage. Seongwu thinks that its mobility must be low because it has no legs or arms. Seongwu orders his werebears and werewolves to attack it, but the boss monster easily pushes them back, and Seongwu gets caught up in the impact. Seongwu starts coughing blood. Mimic becomes more active after smelling the blood, and he starts chasing Seongwu. At this point, Seongwu realizes that he really messed up this time and he should not have taken the boss monster lightly. He is also missing his teammates because he is always extra careful when they are around. Mimic is about to chomp Seongwu, but his minions somehow manage to hold it back. Seongwu activates death response inside the mouth of the mimic, and his zombies start rushing inside its mouth. Seongwu gets back and his minions close the mouth of the mimic with their weight. Seongwu detonates the zombies and even his minions get knocked back by the impact of the explosion. After the smoke subsides, Seongwu receives a total of 1,434 points for defeating the Mimic and completing a plus ranked mission. The Mimic has no damage on its outer shell, which means it could not be defeated from outside. Seongwu takes a note of it and he will be extra careful from now on. After getting healed, Seongwu heads towards the next room. This classroom is a reward room and there are many lockers inside which can be unlocked using the points he just got from defeating the boss. The items inside these lockers are not available in the normal stores and they can boost experience and stats of a player. Seongwu buys an oath parchment item which can allow him to make a pledge with another player. Both players can each purpose one condition and failure to meet the condition will result in death. Seongwu chooses 3 more C-rank items which includes an upgrade stone, strength upgrade vial, and an experience card. Seongwu leveled up to level 13 as a reward for completing the hidden stage and all of his stats are boosted. He also received 150,000 gold. Seongwu chooses a guaranteed 3-point agility card because if he had enough agility, he could have easily outrun the Mimic. A portal to the real world opens up and Seongwu heads inside it. Seongwu and the prosecutor meet up again and Seongwu tells him that he is sorry for wasting his time. The prosecutor presents him some potions as a gift. The prosecutor wants to announce their alliance to the public, so he suggests that they should post a picture of both of them and their contract on the forum. One of his guild members has a photographer class. He has skills and items that allow him to post picture on the online forum. He further elaborates that people need hope, so they look up to heroes like Seongwu and Prosecutor. This can make Seongwu an easy target for other player, but he needs a positive image, so he agrees to it. After that, Prosecutor leaves with his guild. Ji-soo-yeon tells Seongwu that they need to grind more levels before the raid, and Seongwu agrees with her. The next morning, a group of goblins and orcs get attracted by a smell. Both groups start charging at each other and Seongwu detonates the ones who just died, which results in a big explosion. They are hunting with this method and it is quite fast for gaining experience. This item they are using to attract monsters is called rancid wolf meat. It was a failed recipe of Hanho's mom and it smells a lot, so Seongwu asks him to put it away. Hanho's father set up a sentry post with his new Korean sentry skill that provides a buff to the safety zone. Now Seongwu has no need to worry about the town's safety. Taesong arrives there with his biker gang. They have an urgent news for Seongwu. They found a store in Hangneum, but it was already destroyed by someone. Seongwu thinks that this is turning into a really serious problem. They basically have to hunt or forage for their daily necessities, and there is no way they can attempt things like farming anytime soon. Seongwu tells him to inform Spearman Kyung-soo to assign guards on every single store they find, or this problem can soon threaten their safety. Seongwu asks Taesong why his female friends are standing so far away. Taesong informs him that he kicked his friend when she was possessed by the vampire lord. Now they think Seongwu is a brute who beats women. Taesong leaves with his gang and Seongwu gets ready to grind more levels. Suddenly, Ji-soo-yeon's skill activates, which informs her of incoming danger. She tells everyone to get ready for action. Suddenly, 2 werewolves rush out from the windows of buildings. Seongwu's minions try to hold them back. Seongwu is about to shoot a werewolf, but another werewolf appears behind him, and he tells him not to shoot. Seongwu becomes amazed after hearing a werewolf talk. The werewolf starts attacking them even after he asks them to not shoot. A werewolf takes hold of Hanho's bag and all three of them start eating the rancid wolf meat like crazies. While werewolves are busy eating the meat, they get surrounded by Seongwoo's minions. Seongwoo asks the werewolf to give him a good reason to not shoot this time. Two werewolves are scared and they ask their leader what they should do. The werewolf leader starts rushing at the location with weakest orcs. He starts killing them and he tells the other werewolves to run away while he buys time for them. Seongwoo shoots 2 arrows which successfully stop him, but his 2 companions manage to get away. Seongwoo informs the werewolf leader that he showed a stunning display of camaraderie, and he asks him why they attacked his party. The werewolf leader informs them that they lost their minds after they smelled the meat Hanho was carrying. That's why they attacked them. Seongwoo inquires about how he came back to his senses. He informs him that they were given a quest to hunt and devour 10 humans. After completing the quest, they came back to their senses. Seongwoo thinks that they must be the ones responsible for destroying the stores, but the werewolf informs them that they are not responsible for it, and they try to avoid humans as much as possible. He further informs them that there is another group that is extremely hostile towards humans, and they are responsible for destroying the stores in order to put players at a disadvantage. He further informs them that there are humans in that group as well. They are called the Mad Scientists, and they are basically the leaders of that group. They are all collaborating together to create dangerous items. Seongwoo realizes that they must be the wandering salesman. Seongwoo thanks him for being honest, but he informs him that his friends are not going to come back to save him. Werewolf has no worries because when the class selection happened, he was skeptical about the system, so he didn't choose any card and he didn't allow his family to choose anything either. But his son was into games, so he chose a card. His son was the first human he devoured and he wanted to die the moment he regained his senses. The werewolf wishes Seongwoo and his party the best of luck for their future adventures, and Seongwoo stabs him. Hanho is feeling bad for the werewolves, but Seongwoo tells him to get ready because they are going after the 2 werewolves who just got away. Seongwoo needs to interrogate them so he can find more information about the werebeast's territory. Seongwoo is a bit hesitant, but he knows werebeasts are designed as monsters, and they can get out of control at any given moment, so he can't show any mercy to them. Seongwoo's party has come quite far as they were searching for the werewolves. They hide after hearing some voices coming from nearby. It turns out both of the werewolves were captured by kobolds. One of them suggests that they should make sausages out of these wolves, but their team leader tells them not to eat them because they are presents for their queen. Kobolds start stabbing the werewolves with spears which are coated with some sort of paralyzing poison, and they drag them to their hideout once they lose consciousness. Seongwoo and his friends are confused because kobolds are low-ranked monsters and they easily manage to capture 2 mid-tier werewolves. This dungeon has a store as well, which means that the store must be still intact because it has not been cleared yet. Seongwoo tells his party members that they need to secure this store for the survival of their whole community. They receive a notification which states that this is a large dungeon called the Venomous Spider Queen Chambers. This is a killer dungeon as well because it has taken the lives of 124 players. They will receive additional 50% rewards for clearing it. Hanho is afraid because they didn't bring any live goblins with them, and this dungeon is designed to be favorable for monsters. Further inside the dungeon, they witness people who are tied with spider webs, and they are calling for their help. Ji Se-yeon uses her fire sword technique to cut down the webs and free the players. One of the players is quite thankful, but suddenly some spiders burst out of his mouth, which results in his death. Seongwoo explodes the dead bodies of the players to stop spiders, but it alerts the kobolds who seem to be working with the spiders, and they start swarming them. Hanho kills one of them by throwing knife, which activates his ability. Hanho is now ready to show these little critters what real pain and despair feels like. Hanho activates his berserk mode, and he is easily bashing the spiders and kobolds. Even the monsters become afraid, and they think of Hanho as a true demon. Hanho uses his punches to smash the heads of the monsters. One of the kobolds instructs them to change their strategy and tie Hanho with spider webs. They surround Hanho with spider webs from all sides, and they finally manage to tie him up, but Hanho easily bursts out of the webs. Hanho is quite pissed at them, but a kobold orders the spiders to keep spraying Hanho with webs, and they finally manage to completely immobilize him. Hanho becomes scared and he calls for Seongwoo's help. Seongwoo explodes all dead bodies and the monsters get caught up in it. Seongwoo, Ji Se-yeon, and Raidi remind Hanho that he got into this situation because he was too cocky. While they are talking, more monsters swarm them. Seongwoo activates Death Response to summon zombies. He then explodes them to get rid of the invading monsters. After some time, they cleared the whole subway station, but their path to the next station is blocked. Seongwoo just remembers that this subway was connected to a mall above and maybe the queen is present there. After clearing the whole mall, they reach the boss room. They are about to enter it, but a notification pops up which informs them that it's a killer dungeon which has taken the lives of 124 players, and they will receive a small reward if they give up now. Hanho and Ji-seon ask Seongwu to reconsider it because it looks like a tough boss is ahead, but Seongwu informs them that the boss raid is going to be even more tougher, so they should face this queen now to get stronger. When they enter the boss room, a kobold shaman is present there who welcomes them, and he is the boss of this dungeon. Hanho is surprised because this kobold shaman can perfectly mimic human language, unlike other kobolds who only know a few human words. Kobold shaman informs them that he ate 20 human brains, which gave him speech ability. Seongwu now knows that the game is designed two ways, and monsters can also become stronger by killing humans. Kobold shaman tells them that he will soon have 23 human brains. The ground starts shaking and another boss monster called Giant Venomous Spider Queen makes her appearance. Both monsters unite their forces and merge into one. Seongwu uses Death Response for his usual explosion skill. Spider Queen uses her steel webs to capture the zombies and Seongwu's minions. Instead of finishing them, she throws them away from her. Kobold Shaman already knew about Seongwu's explosion skill because he was observing them through his scouts. Seongwu is worried because this kobold knows human speech, plus he has become intelligent like a human. Hanho throws his daggers at the kobold, but they get blocked by Spider Queen. Kobold informs them that after merging, he has become the brain while Spider Queen is the body, so now she will protect him at all costs. Spider Queen attacks them with more webs, but Ji-seon uses her ignition sword which easily manages to burn the webs. Ji-seon attacks the spider and one of her legs catches fire. Kobold Shaman uses his aqua skill to spray water on the spider's leg. He then starts holding back Ji-seon with his aqua skill. Seongwu instructs his minions to stand together and block the boss monster. He further instructs Hanho to stay with Ji-seon. Seongwu seems to have cooked up a plan for the boss. The boss is smashing the minions one by one and he is eager to eat the human brains. Seongwu resurrects all of the dead monsters which were captured above by the queen before. Seongwu tells him that his dinner time is over because this boss nest filled with dead bodies is a perfect combination for his Necromancer class. The newly reincarnated minions start rushing towards the boss. Spider Queen easily slashes some of them in half with her leg attack. One of the minions manages to slash one of her legs. The queen becomes more agitated and she throws poison at the minions, but the minions are not affected by the poison because they are just made up of bones. Kobold Shaman also realizes it and he instructs the queen to not use poison on the corpses. Queen somehow manages to bash the first wave of skeleton minions, but someone reincarnates more dead monsters. Most of the dead bodies in the boss room belong to werebeasts because Spider Queen is a picker-eater and she prefers stronger monsters. The Kobold Shaman becomes agitated by the continuous waves of werebeast minions, so they jump up to go directly for Seongwu. Spider Queen lunges at Seongwu with all her might, but he manages to block her attack with his bone shield. Spider Queen keeps destroying his bone shields, and Seongwu keeps making them again and again. One of her attack manages to hit Seongwu, but he is holding her back as much as he can. Kobold becomes really pissed at the minions who keep attacking him from behind. The queen grabs all the corpses and the Kobold Shaman burns them using his fireball skill. Seongwu realizes that this kobold is getting more smarter as the fight goes on. Seongwu's minions dash toward the Kobold Shaman, but he blocks them using an air boom skill, which creates a force field around him. Kobold Shaman becomes more cocky because Seongwu has a limited number of minions remaining, and he can't summon more. Shaman lets his guard down and Ji-seon jumps from behind him and she tries to strike the shaman, but her attack gets blocked by Spider Queen's legs. Hanho appears along with zombies and it turns out both Jisoo and Hanho were planning something behind the scenes. Kobold Shaman makes fun of Hanho for being weak and pathetic, but Spider Queen seems to be hesitating for some reason. Hanho pulls out a rancid meat dish. It turns out Hanho was preparing rancid meat all this time. Both Spider Queen and Kobold Shaman can't resist its smell. All zombies have been loaded with rancid meat, so the queen grabs them and they start chomping on them. Seongwu says his final goodbye to the copy Kobold Shaman as he detonates the zombies, which results in a huge explosion. On the other side, Prosecutor is facing a bat boss monster and he manages to cut it into two with his sword/attack. His troops start celebrating their victory. It turns out Prosecutor can receive 10% experience points from his Crusaders too, but he's still worried about how Gang Sok-han became the first ranked player. Prosecutor has the best guild in Korea under his command, but he still cannot catch up to the mysterious guy on first place, and he can be a threat to him in the future. The scouter of his party informs him that the Korean rankings have changed, It turns out Seongwu reached level 14 before him and he is now on second place. Prosecutor bursts out with anger after watching it as he is obsessed with staying on the top rankings.